What's up guys, Shane here from Fugatech 3D Printing. Today we're checking out some PLA from Coex. Welcome back. As I said, it's PLA from a company called Coex, which I have never heard of before, but I was introduced to them by Tim from TH3D Studios. He swears by it. He actually uses a ton of their different filaments, and a lot of his production prints that he does for people on one-offs and a lot of his easy ABL kits and things like that, the parts that he prints, he uses Coex filament almost exclusively. I had to try it just because he said that. So again, he got me in touch with them. They said they would absolutely like to send some filament to me. They sent 2 rolls of PLA. They sent me a silver, like a shiny silver, and this yellow. We're gonna use this yellow for the review, and I would like to save the silver to do some projects with, because I do have some fun ones coming up. But let's take a look at the box first, and it's just a plain white box, but it's very unique, as there is this cutout right here that has their logo. It's PLA. And there's some SKU codes here. I'm wondering if these are kind of batch numbers that are on there. And it's a kilogram. And then right here is like for if you have it stacked on your shelf, like so you can at least read what it is. It's just a black and white sticker. PLA, kilogram. The spool weight is 302 grams. Operating temperatures 215 to 235. Bed temperature not applicable, not needed. This does seem to be a higher end PLA requiring a higher temperature. Maker Geeks requires a higher temperature as well, and so does Protopasta. I have to print theirs usually at 225 to get good results. So here we go. Here's the spool. It's a good sturdy spool. Vacuum seal is there. It's not the tightest seal, but it doesn't really have to be. The fact that it's sealed says enough. We need to cut this open. There's a silica pack in there. Again, non-sealable bag. This is what a spool should look like when it is rolled. I will have to give them a 9.5 out of 10, just because we're kind of bunched up on the side here for some reason. But other than that, it is a perfectly wound spool right there. Again, a little bit of bunched up on the side. Not sure what happened there, but I like it. It is a kind of like a almost mustardy yellow. Very unique. We'll see how it ends up printing. It is a little bit dusty though. Notice a little bit on there, but it is a good tight roll on there, good tight spooling. The spool itself is very sturdy. Can't really bend it. It is a injection molded spool, so it's one solid piece. Yeah, so again, I mean, I've heard great things about this, and I'm hoping that it prints out well for me. So I'm gonna throw this on a couple printers and see how it does. All right, welcome back guys. So I was mistaken when I first said that this was a yellow PLA from Coex. It is not. So it is actually labeled miscellaneous, and also on their website labeled as mystery. This is transition colored filament. So what started out in this, yellow, mustardy yellow, turned into almost clear filament. And that's where the spool had ended. It might have transitioned to another color after that. I didn't realize that because looking from the outside and obviously not reading the documentation that was sent to me, I didn't actually put that together. So I do apologize for saying that in the beginning, but this is a miscellaneous filament. Now for a mystery or miscellaneous transitional filament, the tolerances were quite amazing, as it printed out perfectly fine, except for the doggone Anycubic i3 Mega failing twice on me at 2 different points when trying to print out the Master Sword. I'm trying to do a future project of printing out the Master Sword that fits on a standard 200 by 200 millimeter bed, because if you print out the full version of it, you need a 300 millimeter bed just because it's so big and the actual hilt here is just so wide. And I wanted to print it out just widthwise, as wide as it could go, and still be able to do everything in one go. So everything was going in one go. I've got all these bits for the blade. None of it's usable. The pommel is usable, and the pins are usable. That's it. So I'm super angry that I wasted literally almost half this roll on 2 of these prints that failed on me. I thought, oh, maybe the power just went out or something, but for some reason, the i3 Mega said print completed after 16 hours, and it just stopped on, where'd this one stop on? It was on one of these bits. It just stopped right here and just melted some of the plastic there. I was like, but the print's not done. This wasn't even, this was maybe halfway done at 16 hours. And then when I went ahead, that was the first round that failed. Then I did this one, which actually kind of got a pretty cool hilt going there. So this finished up to almost 80% and then just said print completed after like 20 hours, 21 hours. I was like, what the heck? I think there's a fan problem down in the bottom. I had this when I first moved here. The fan, the part cooling fan actually came dislodged. Not part cooling fan, I'm sorry. The stepper driver fan actually came dislodged. It was no longer blowing directly on those 2208 drivers, which actually get pretty hot. So I need to check into those and see if that's actually still spinning and working on there. I haven't printed on it since I've done this, so I'm going to have to rip that apart and look into it. Sorry, that's a little bit more than just a filament review part of the video, but it is some of the problems that you have when you do 3D printing, especially when you do it like me as 3D printing, we're doing reviews of filament. Things happen, so I'm sorry to Coex for that. I do have lots of other filament from them to test out. This was just this roll I wanted to do for this video, so there'll be more to come from them. But anyways, of the prints that did finish, and of all of the yellow stuff all in this bin, we're going to take a closer look into that stuff right now. All right, so first up is going to be obviously my maker coin. Do this in every filament. And for this yellow, so if I did get a full roll of this stuff turned out great. Got a little mustardy kind of color to it. But overall, on the Anycubic i3 Meta did a good job of it. Filled in all the top layer just fine. A little pimple, a few up here for some reason. The retraction a little weird on there. On the bottom, over the supports, it did pretty good. As you can see, it did nice layers over that. It's kind of it's a little hard to actually kind of film the color. But the walls all were nice and smooth. It did a pretty good job over all the cogs here, as you can see. Most of them are pretty rounded over. There's like one, I think, that was a little bit rough. Might have been this one here. A little rough there, but really nothing too much to write home about. It printed pretty well. Another boat for my son. Print these on a lot of different filaments. It's a good test as well, kind of just for consistency of anything else. You can see the writing in the back. Overall consistent throughout the print. You can really see the layer lines in this color. I think it's just this color in particular really does show that. There was something on my nozzle. There's 2 little black specks in there somewhere. So something finally came off on the nozzle during the print. So I wasn't too happy about that, but that's okay. It happens. Here's the first print that didn't turn out perfect. So this is the fossil fish, but there were issues up here. As you can see, there's kind of a layer shift where it wasn't really a layer shift. It was this part here detached from the ultra base. Now the ultra base grips really, really well to PLA and PETGs. But this one just had a little bit of problem, but it was only that spot. Everything else stayed where it should. So that was fine. It was just this one here that didn't turn out so well. So, which means that this in here, so you can't get that quite focused there, you can't see it, but you can see in there how it's a little forward more. That you know, enables so this can't actually flex the way it should. Like this is all super flexy. But the actual head can't flex because this piece is off kilter from where it should be. This eye part happens in every filament just because it's an unsupported circle printing in midair, so after a few layers it finally gets it, but that does happen. And this little dimple right here, you see that right there? That's actually a hole in the ultra base. So that was actually going all the way down just to the bare glass. Everything else on this print was perfectly fine except for this one part coming up off the bed. These are some backpack holders that I had made. I made these originally out of PETG, but I'm noticing that they're kind of sagging a little bit more than I wanted to, and the PLA is much sturdier. It's a much more rigid material. So I just went ahead and printed these 3 out. It's 2 for my tour kids and 1 for my backpack as well. Keeps them off the ground and everything like that. But they turned out just fine. I mean, a super simple print that I designed in like maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes in Fusion 360. So very simple design, and it's just mounted with 2 screws into the wall. But yeah, again, these turned out the way they should, just fine. Now I'll show you here the Master Sword part. So this is the first one I did. Again, this killed right around halfway. This ended up just stopping. So it's a 3 perimeter, 15% infill. So, but I'm using rectilinear, so it looks a lot more dense than that. But you can see how it started to transition up to that more clear filament, and then when I restarted it, it's still a little bit of the yellow in there, then really went to that clear. It's so clear it almost looks silver. And maybe it is like a more silver, but it's very transparent, it's very shiny, and I actually really dig just the way this one piece looks. If it would have finished, that I could have actually had a functional part. The only parts that I could keep was the pommel and the pins that will go into it. So these go into here, and then will eventually go into the handle like so, and then the handle will go into the bottom, or eventually will be down here like that to make the Master Sword. Again, so that's a bummer, but a few usable parts, but the rest I'll have to reprint with a different filament. I forget the last thing I made here. This is for a hydrometer. So I printed this in another review filament, but it's for one of these. Kind of says the humidity, so you can see it's 59% humidity in my office, and it is 26 degrees centigrade, which I thought I changed to Fahrenheit. Apparently I didn't. So whatever that is in Fahrenheit, it's hot in here. I can say that. So I just have to throw another one of those in here, and this will go towards in one of the filament containers or something that I have sitting around. But yeah, this one did struggle a little bit. I had to print this one twice. Hang on. I had to print this one twice because some of these didn't stay the first time around. Even this one here, this one had shimmied just a little bit, but the print recovered itself. It just, yeah, this was a little more challenging print just because of the way that these are and how they're rounded and they come up. And just have the small surface area that sits on the bed. I did have this struggle just a little bit, and I'm going to blame the Ultra Base as not gripping this stuff well enough. So again, I am sorry for misrepresenting this spool in the very beginning as it being a more transition, a mystery, miscellaneous spool, as I thought it was just the yellow that came in. And I noticed I didn't do the close-up of this, but it's just a base mode bowl, and I have noticed on the Anycubic i3 Mega, it's not filling in two of these layers for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm going to re-slice it. I've been using pre-sliced things already. I have a PLA one just for this, a PETG one for wood, already sliced on the printer. I just hit that and hit print. I'm going to re-slice that, change my extrusion to be just a little bit higher. Maybe that will help get rid of that that under extrusion in there. So I'm going to change out on the slicer, re-slice it, and then maybe that'll help fix that under extrusion part. But I had noticed that in several different filaments coming off of that printer. So I'm going to blame that the G code, is there something amiss there? Anyways, I will get this Master Sword reprinted in different filament, but that's a story for another day. Other than that, this is like their cheapest filament that they have. I can't quote the price because I honestly don't remember right now what it was, but it's mystery. You don't know what you're going to get. So if you're going to be printing something just to go ahead and print with it and then paint it, or you don't care about the color, this might be an option for you to look for cheaper. Again, it was no under extrusions anywhere, and the faults were 100% my printer. It was not the filament itself. So I'm very happy with it, and I'm happy to use some of their other filament for some future projects, and hopefully they will turn out just as good as this did, and that is just their standard PLA, not their transitional spools. So that wraps it up, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. Thumbs down. Talk to me in the comments down below. I want to hear from you guys what you thought about the filament or the video. If you guys want to stay tuned what's going on and be notified when new projects are posted, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon. You'll get an email notification when I upload the new videos or do any live streams. If you want to support me financially, help me do more projects, get access to my after show, down below me is the Patreon link. Click on that. Donate me $1 more. I appreciate it from you guys and all the current patrons that I have on there, and that helps me do more projects on the channel, so I appreciate you guys helping out with that. Other ways to donate, there's some one-time deals and there's some affiliate links down below. There'll also be a link, non-affiliate, to the Coex website if you guys want to check out this filament. So be sure to head down there, and with the affiliate links, anything you buy, a little slice comes back here and help me with the channel. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, happy printing.